Hello guys, welcome back to another Drewtorial. Sorry it took so long since the last one. I've been busy working. It's been like 14 days since I had a weekend or a day off. So let's get back to where I left off, or where we left off. Alright, so in the last tutorials we covered storyboard, animatic, and started some line art. So, just a quick review. Storyboard, we got, just means it's basic look of each scene. Rough sketches, very common. This was just really simple. I've seen a lot of complicated storyboards, even for movies, so this one's just rough sketches. Animatic will be determines how things will be moving and timed out. It's basically an animated storyboard, in this case at least. And then of course the line art. Oop, there it is. So we got Drew animated. He's like, da boom, da boom. All I've done with him is just animated his face, so that's good for if you want just quick and dirty animation, but you can always put more in, like body movements, more exaggerated expressions, and so on. Now we're going to move on to animating Lydia, which is going to be a little more complicated than Drew was because she's turning her head from one angle to another, and her expression is changing too. And I also have two layers, one for the face, one for the rest of them, her, Drew or Lydia. So let's get to it. In animation, there's usually a requirement of at least 3 frames between start and end frame. There's always the start frame, the end frame, and then at least one in between frame. That way it looks animated. Otherwise it's like pop, pop, pop. That's not animation. It's just slideshow kind of thing. So let's put in between frame here. Now of course this is going to be more than 3 frames because there's a lot more movement. Unless you really want choppy movement, then go right ahead, but I'm gonna do at least 4 or 5 frames. So I pressed F6 to create a new keyframe. I'm putting it right next to the last frame because I can turn on onion skinning and just shorten that as much as possible. And yeah, onion skinning, that lets you view previous and frames that come after, so you can get a good idea of a equal ground between frames. I'm gonna do what I normally do. It's just do a halfway. There's just to start myself off and start you guys off who are still learning animation. But you can always try new things like going in thirds. I'm just gonna like ramble on a bit more, but basically start frame is here, end frame is here. I'm gonna go halfway, so the root of her hair is gonna start here, and this is brown. So it's gonna be like that. But first I'm gonna actually delete this and hide you. Okay, now we can do this better. So yeah, this is the end frame. This is the start frame. I haven't really paid attention much to the difference in the opacity or the transparency of start and end, but in this case, the one that looks more transparent is the one frame that comes before, and the darker is the one that comes after. So anyways, as I was saying, halfway point, the root of her hair would start off like this. And be like, that's basically what I mean. You can always play around, like do it in thirds. So if you're doing about 4 frames or 6 frames, just like an even number of frames, especially because there is no halfway frame. You can do something like thirds. So it's like this would be 2/3 of the way through, and if you do another frame with 1/3 of the way through, you'll have 4 frames in here. So this is what I mean for the in-between frames. And of course there's always, that's not always what you need to do as well, because that's just equalizing between the first and last frame. There's also the ease in, ease out method. So for the next frame, the root of the hair would be here maybe, then here, and then here. Kind of like, it's not really easy to tell here, so I'm going to zoom in a bit. So 1 frame here, 1 frame here, 1 frame here, 1 frame here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, this is what I mean. Ease in means it'll be slow at first. So something like that. It's more like in the graph. And then you ease out is the other way around. So let's see if I can do this. Something like that. So it would be really fast at first and then slow at the end. Now, this is going to be a lot to take in, especially when I'm doing just something simple. So I'm just going to do a halfway for now. And actually, it's a great thing, even if you're going to do an ease in and ease out technique, it's still okay to do a halfway point, because you can always add frames in between those. Put more frames here, for example. After that, put like a halfway here. So between this and the first halfway frame and the frame 1, you can put a halfway frame in between those two, and then after that you could put another halfway frame. You get an ease in technique in there, or do it near the end. Whichever you prefer. And it's always good to play around, because then you'll learn more and more experience and stuff. So I'm not totally experienced at this yet, but I'm learning too. So in between frame, here we go. Now I'm going to actually start with the head first, because that's what I do. Chin's right here. And let's see, something like that. She's going to be in between front and 3/4 view. Her neck is about here. Other side of her neck, I don't even see it. Whoa, I didn't even draw it. That was awesome. Well, we're gonna draw it now. Yay. Okay. So basically about here. Well, that looks ugly though. That's why I'm gonna tweak it. That looks better. Let's see. Ear, there's no ear visible, so I'm just gonna like draw it right here. Move it upwards. And then move it more over here. Maybe a bit more. Nah. Because the neck joins with the ear. from this view at least. Okay, it's not going to look perfect, but oh well. Ear drawing there. Alright, so I'm going to create a group just so that I won't have to deal with messing around with what I just drew. So yeah, just looking at drawing in between roughly the first and last frame in here. And right here, this is going to be hard because she doesn't have a little hair thing that pokes out in the 3/4 view. So I'm just going to sort of make up one. Let's see, bangs here, right here. Making sound effects. That doesn't look right. A lot of undoing and fixing things. That's always in the basis of any art thing, any art piece or medium. So that's what I meant. And I'm just probably just gonna talk a little less right now because I'm concentrating, but and you can sort of work from there after that. She doesn't have her hair things here. What was you thinking, Drew? Pass, Drew, I hate you. No. Whoops. Yeah, you always want to group. Well, really helps, because otherwise you're going to have to spend a lot of time being precise in your erasing, when really it's just so much easier to group and then ungroup. That looks good. I'm going to ungroup now. Okay, back to this. Group that, or group, make a new group. Where did I put it? Far. Looks very much in the same place. In fact, it is in the same place. Wow, that was easy. Staples, that was easy. Yeah, looks good. This one isn't exactly in the middle, which is good. I can see. And this is too short. Like Flash's smooth tool. Sometimes it's just always helps. And yeah, and this, I think I've heard in some other versions that the smooth tool is unstable. But CS3 it seems fine. Okay. Now just to erase some of this. And yeah, maybe just erase this jaw line a bit. Turn off onion skinning, and that looks terrible. I'll fix that. And there we go. Now, ooh, you can see her scarf in this one, but not in that one, at least in the stage. Plus, you can see some of her ear, so I'm just gonna fake it. Faking's good. Alright, so I'm just in between frame for the scarf. Doesn't actually show up, but oh well. And just gonna join that up. All right, looks like we have some in between in there. Yay. Alrighty. So, when we play this, whoop, that one skipped. That was really fast, wasn't it? And just move the frame. Now she's moving a bit. Now, it's still pretty choppy. So, why don't I just add some more frames? More frames. And from this point on, it's pretty straightforward. From what I explained, in-betweens or do thirds. I'm not really good at explaining it well, but well, that's not even joined. It's just a matter of what your eye sees. And if you're a perfectionist, you may spend a lot of time making things look right. I'm kind of a perfectionist, but in this case I'm going against, well, kind of. I'm still correcting a lot. Well, so let's see, how am I doing for time? 17 minutes. Wow. Okay, well, I'm just going to finish this frame quickly. And then I'm going to end it here and continue in another tutorial. Well, that's a lot of hair. It's supposed to be 5. And yeah, just gonna do a little bit lazy and not even bother grouping the hair strand there. Erase. Not much to erase on that side. And then yeah, that's why I hate about the smooth tool sometimes, because sometimes it just blotches out. But it seems to work more often if I have it really smooth. Yeah, and you can always smooth out your lines with the smooth tool here, but sometimes it can get really wild. And I'm just gonna keep the style consistent for the time being. It's gonna be a little bit hand-drawn-ish. So yeah, that just did that really quickly, huh? Maybe if I did this even faster. Yeah, that's pretty much the basic, and I haven't done your face yet, so looks like looks gross. But yeah, so that'll be the end of this tutorial, and stay tuned. I'm probably gonna continue this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.